got the mail, the envelopes too. I just gotta pick them up.
How are you? I'm good. I guess I was looking at it, I looked at it for longer, I'm like, going over this.
Yeah, today I did not. It was too cold today. It was 1 degree. Yeah.
No, seriously, that's why I have a treadmill down in the basement, it's currently collecting dust, because I'm not exercising at all. Okay.
Yeah.
I never got it to negative. I got it.
It was definitely
Oh, should we wait for her? She come?
I think we can go, and if she comes, we'll just do it.
Okay, there she comes. Okay, so I'd like to call this meeting, regular board meeting of December 8th, 2025. Would you all please rise and pledge allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will, all right, any additions to the agenda?
none tonight.
All right. Since do we have any public comments on the agenda items?
None tonight.
Okay. Since our student council member is not here right now, we will defer that until she shows up, if she does. And so that takes us to the consent grouping. I need to have a motion and support to accept the consent grouping, or approve the consent grouping.
There she is.
There she is. Okay, we will hold off on that vote.
Just in time. Every time. We got all night.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. When you are ready to give your report, go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Oh, you want to get logged on and we'll do the consent grouping before, while you're getting ready, or?
It's right here.
Okay.
Take it.
Ready.
Yep.
Apologies for being late, little car troubles tonight. But the beginning of this trimester has been full of activities at LHS, from assemblies to sports and Thanksgiving break. We've been quite busy at the high school. We've had a positive youth conference which taught students the dangers of social media and how easily you can be sucked into your electronics. This assembly was heavily impactful and helped students realize how much time they really spend on electronic and social media. On the other hand, winter sports have started up at LHS. Many teams have had their first few games, some more successful than others, but nonetheless, it's looking like we'll be having a good winter season ahead of us. Our Lynx basketball team also started up and is looking like an exciting season for them. Seniors are anxiously waiting for college admissions for most of the competitive universities, which should be coming after the first of the year. It's starting to get very real, and once this calendar hits 2026, things are going to starting to move really fast. Most students then will review their financial aid award letters in February so they can make a decision in early March. The students have until May 1st to make their decision. Thank you all for your time. This has been your student report for December 8, 2025. Your student representative, Gianna Ginston-Free.
Thank you. All right, now I will entertain a motion to accept approve the consent grouping portion of the agenda as recommended.
So moved.
Moved by Jen. Support?
I'll support.
Support by Annie. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Consent grouping passes. Now, our superintendent's evaluation.
Pat's gonna do that.
Pat's gonna do that. That's right.
So, hello everyone. Make that ready here. Each year we are required by state law to complete the superintendent's evaluation. This process is, like I said, outlined by the state, We have a certain tool that we are required to use. All 7 members of our board are required to take a training program and are trained to do this in a faithful way and in a way that will give hopefully a good evaluation of what our superintendent has been doing for the course of the last year. So, as I said here, this is required by the revised school code. The revised school code also requires us to present our data publicly at a meeting, as I am doing now. We are in a number of areas giving scores to the superintendent on a level of 3, 2, or 1. You can see we're also allowed to give 2.5s and 1.5s, but that's as much as the tool allows us to split up the numbers. So those are our options. 2 years ago, the system changed. So last year, the first time, we used to have a choice of 4 highly effective. Now we are only allowed the choices of 3, 2, or 1. And as I talked last year, you'll see how it plays out in our scoring for this year. So there's 5 different areas that we are asked to evaluate the superintendent. The first is this area here of governance and board relations. As you can see, we scored 3s in all of the areas here on this path. Policy involvement, developing and recommending policies, goal development for the district, information, this is information provided to board members, materials and background, the materials that we are given, the packets we're given, board questions, the follow-up and questions that we address to Mr. Fowler and how he follows up with them, and then board development, the work that we do as a board in developing ourselves and our opportunities. So all of these areas we register as a 3, as effective. If you go back to last year, there was actually a 2.5, I believe, in this area that we thought Mr. Fowler did follow up well on. We give a comment in each of these sections. The comment here, the board has a good working relationship with Mr. Fowler. The board has had many productive conversations with Mr. Fowler regarding the operation of the district and its academic and other goals and procedures. Mr. Fowler communicates with the board frequently and effectively. The board appreciates the efforts he makes to inform all board members, especially when one member has a particular question or concern. The board would like to in the future see more indicators and information that connects the work of the principals and their individual schools to the greater district goals. The next area is in the area of community relations. Communication with community and parents, seeking two-way communication with the parents, we gave that a 3. You can see here community and parent input, it's 2.5. Actively seeking community parent input and engaging community parents in goal setting and decision making. A 2.5 also in media relations, how you actively engage the media to promote the district and provide timely and effective information. District image 3, Mr. Fowler presents a positive image at all times and champions of the district. And approachability 3, consistently visible at a variety of events, approachable. Okay. Mr. Fowler continues to represent the district well. He is visible in the community and remains active in community organizations. He makes phone calls and holds meetings when parents have concerns. He is willing to engage informally with parents and other community members at games, concerts, and in the parking lot. The Parental Advisory Committee and student groups at various schools allow him to receive community and parental feedback in effective ways. The board would like to further discuss ways to regularly gather feedback from the community, perhaps through a satisfaction survey or a similar measure. The board also encourages Mr. Fowler and the admin team to pursue a proactive campaign to promote the district's many positive attributes and to better demonstrate our strengths to existing and future residents. The next domain is staff relations. We have a 2.5 here in staff input, ways that we actively seek staff input, engage staff in goal setting and decision making. The other areas you can see all score as a 3. Staff communications, keeping staff informed. Personnel matters, consistent fairness, discretion and impartiality. Delegation of duties, fostering professional growth and leadership. Recruitment, a formal recruitment and hiring process is followed for each hiring. Labor relations, that's a 3. proactively working with our union leadership to build relationships with staff groups and establish trust. And then 3, visibility in district in terms of relations with staff and visibility with staff. Mr. Fowler has a personal relationship and rapport with many staff members. He has a good working relationship with different bargaining groups. Over the past year, he's led the district in successfully negotiating new contracts with the LEA and LESPA. The district's commitment to PLCs provides additional opportunities for staff voice, feedback, and shared decision-making. Over the past year, additional staff feedback has been gathered in the middle school principal search process and through a refocused curriculum council. The board recognizes the importance of staff input and values any and all feedback the administration can pass along as it is collected. Mr. Fowler leads a strong team of central office administrators and building principals who work together effectively. The board encourages Mr. Fowler to be intentional in the delegation of duties among administrators and staff, especially with an eye to succession planning for long-term district stability. The next domain is business and finance. We scored 3 in all of these areas, consistently high. Budget development and management. So our budget actions are proactive, considering current information and data and planning ahead for long-range needs. Budget reports, the reports that we receive concerning budget and financial status are at top levels. Financial controls, Mr. Fowler promotes the appropriate financial controls. The audit reports that we have definitely show that out year after year. Facility management plans are in place for buildings and future improvements. And then resource allocation. The resources we have are distributed consistently based on our goals and needs to meet both immediate and long-range objectives. As a whole, the business and finance operations of the district continue to be a major strength for the district. Mr. Fowler has a good grasp of these matters, and he works effectively with Mrs. Hodge and other administrators in this area. The district effectively navigated the fiscal cliff created as COVID-era funds expired, and also was prepared to manage the potential crises caused by the protracted state budget negotiations this year and the federal government shutdown. The business office has successfully launched new financial software, and the district is wrapping up a major technology infrastructure switch to the Google Suite. With sinking fund and bond projects being in full swing at Cherry Creek and throughout the district, the board would like regular updates from the facilities department about building construction needs and ongoing maintenance. Our last domain is instructional leadership. This is the actual teaching and learning portion of the district, probably the most important. It weighs the most in the scores that Mr. Fowler receives. And you can see here mostly 3s. We have 1 2.5 here, asking for a little bit of work in that area. Performance evaluation system. So in terms of the evaluation of teachers and staff, has been established and is compliance with state law. Building level leadership, principals have defined autonomy consistently with accountability. Goals are prioritized. Staff development is a 3 in terms of the programs available and targeted towards staff growth. School improvement plans are in place across the district and are followed across the district. The curriculum is in place and aligned and in compliance with all state standards. Instruction, effort is made to accommodate the diverse learners, the needs and levels of readiness. Technology is used. Student voice is sought in a number of ways, engagement of students. Support for students is available, many programs and activities to support students. And then lastly, professional knowledge. Mr. Fowler himself demonstrates a knowledge of current instructional programs. He's able to discuss them. He is part of professional groups and organizations for the benefit of our district. Mr. Fowler has many strengths in this area of instructional leadership. Working with Mr. Goff in this new capacity as Director of Teacher and Learning, Mr. Fowler and the leadership team and instructional staff continue to implement, innovate, and evaluate in the areas of teaching and learning. The board is very supportive of the district's work in supporting our students. We have a robust system of instruction and intervention that in many ways is at the forefront of these efforts in our county and our state. Student assessment data and student input drive instruction and decision making. The board recognizes the important roles played by principals, teachers, and students throughout the district, and would like to systematize an intentional plan for reports from and collaboration with all principals at our meetings and workshops throughout the year. So putting together what we have in these 5 domains, you can see the scores when they're averaged out in the areas. So in the 2.5s and things we're in, you can see in the areas that they're averaged out. And this is all given to us by the state's program. We don't have any control over what these areas are. We just give the scores, and it weights out here to a overall average in this level of 2.9426, which is a 98% of what you could get of the highest score here. Last year, in this area, Mr. Fowler's score was 2.940. So we did see some improvement there in that score in the past year. Then we are required to add 2 more things to the score. One is student growth and assessment data. All evaluations in the state, teachers, principals, and superintendents have this student growth and assessment data factored in. At our workshop last month, we were presented with information about the school index scores that are publicly posted online. You can see in those scores that over the last year, we had an 85% or higher growth index in all of our district schools. And when you take the proficiency index and average it among our schools, that's 92.5 for the district as a whole. And so if you look at sort of the rough percentages, that this is again what the state recommends, that 85 to 100 fits into that category of a 3. They're effective in that area. And then the other area that we're required to evaluate is Mr. Fowler, along with the teachers, administrators, do they make progress toward district-wide goals? We have 3 goals on our MyKIP State and School Improvement Plan that you hear repeatedly throughout the year reports on. So they've been making progress towards all those goals. They are reported to us frequently throughout the year. So then when we factor these 2 things in, we take the scores that we were given before, the number that we had before, the 2.94, and then you add in the 3s in these other 2 areas. That gets to the final score that Mr. Fowler's evaluation is 2.9627, where last year it was 2.9616. So again, we see improvement that is in the 99% area. As we said last year, the highest we can give is effective. Below that, as you can see on the list, is developing and needing support. It's pretty obvious as you watch how our district functions that developing and needing support are not anywhere near where our administration functions at. And so effective, or what in the past we would call highly effective, we as a board clearly feel that our administration, and specifically Mr. Fowler, is in that area. And so our final comment is this: the board finds Mr. Fowler to be a highly effective superintendent. He leads an experienced administrative team, and we have witnessed steady growth in many areas. Over the past year, the district has settled contracts with its 2 largest bargaining units, initiated a major school renovation project, completed many capital repairs and improvements, increased its fund balance, along with maintaining growth in academic proficiency. Lowell schools consistently perform in the top quadrant of schools in the county. The board looks forward to continuing to work with Mr. Fowler to provide excellent academic opportunities and a safe and positive learning environment for all the children of Lowell area schools. And I think that's my last slide. So that's all from me. If anybody else has any other comments, but that covers it.
Thanks, Pat.
Now, if Mr. Fowler had a comment now, or are you gonna make it later, or anything, or not at all?
You have options.
You know, I think I would just say that it's an honor to serve as superintendent in the school with the community support that we have, the support from the board. I was struck by the feedback of just the administrative team with the district administrators and the building leaders working together effectively, and it's certainly a team effort with that. And so just appreciation for all the teachers, all the families, the community, and our administrative team to make this. It's a team effort to move this district forward. So going to continue to work to improve our programs, continue to work at communication and getting input and voice of all of those different constituencies in our system, continue to hire the best people, continue to promote a safe and welcoming culture, and all of those things that make LAS special. So look forward to continuing the work.
I guess, just to clarify, which wasn't part of the official report, but just so people are aware, that this really started intensely for us 2 months ago, and over a month before our last meeting back in November, we each individually gave the scores, and then we compiled all the scores that all 7 of us individually gave, and after we had a closed session, which we're allowed to do for evaluation purposes, after the workshop last month, and we met as a board, just the 7 of us, and went over every one of those numbers and talked about who gave 2s and who gave 2.5s and who gave 3s, and settled on as a consensus the numbers that you saw here. Then we had an opportunity at his request in closed session to continue to meet with Mr. Fowler and talk more specifically about it. You know, you can only write so much in a document like this. I only have so much spots in the boxes they give us and things. And so we were able to talk at a little deeper level about what some of these things mean and what they could mean for us in the future. So I look forward to that playing out over the course, and some of the plans that we've already talked about that we may see playing out in our meetings and workshops over the course of the year this year, based on what we were able to discuss. So overall, a very positive working experience, I think, at least I experienced with my other board members and with Mr. Fowler over the last month and a half.
And I would like to add that we also have an opportunity, each individual has an opportunity to make comments on each of the sections. And so there are lots of comments made by individuals. I think everybody on the board made at least one comment in one section. And I feel that that's a good way of kind of coming up with kind of guideposts, if you will, for Mr. Fowler to see where each of us is looking at, because we all have a little bit different perspective, and I think that adds to the whole efficiency of the evaluation, because you get different perspectives, you get different ideas, and that way you've got a better roadmap to looking for what the whole district can do moving forward. So I think it's always a really good process, and I always thank Pat for taking the lead in this, because he's got it down to like a science. I don't think any of us, you have to keep on the board until I'm at least gone, Pat, because I don't think anybody can do it the way you do, so thank you. Any other comments? Okay, then I will entertain a motion that the Board of Education approve the superintendent's evaluation as presented.
So moved.
So moved, and so moved by Annie, support by Pat?
Sure.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next action item on our list tonight is the second reading of the revised new bylaws and policies. Mr. Fowler?
Typically, we'll entertain a motion and then we'll have
Entertain a
discussion.
motion, then we'll
Yep.
discuss. Okay, so I need a motion to approve the Board of Education, upon conducting the second reading, approve the following revised new bylaws and policies: 1623, 2260, 2260.01, 3123, 4123, 1422.02, 1662, 3122.02, 3362, 4122.02, 4362, 7541, 1422, 3122, 4122, 2266, 2210, 2412, 4162, 5517.01, 7540.02, 7541, 8300, 8305, and 8400. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Jared, support?
Support.
Support by Jen. All in favor of?
Now it's time
Oh,
to
now
discuss.
it's time to discuss, sorry.
So, you know, what I would say is, and there was a question in the minutes too about the attachment. You know, we've had a lot of discussion again over the last month and a half, 2 months regarding these. The policies that you read off, the summaries are in the packet for the December meeting as well as the packet for the November meeting. The detailed policies are in the packet related to the October workshop where they were initially introduced. So can see all of the long-ranging, wide-ranging policy updates related to curriculum development, planning around security, informational security, school safety, discrimination policies, and so a wide-ranging group of policy updates.
But as usual, most of them, because of changes in state law, because of changes in federal law, a huge number just because a federal office closed and we had to change which office we were referring to. And so it sounds like a huge list, but half of them are, more than half are just very technical little thing changes, and a few are, there's not really that many changes.
Correct.
Any other comments? All right, then, all in favor of approving the second reading of the revised bylaws, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, the information section of our meeting tonight, human resources update.
Yeah, thank you. You know, labor relations was talked a little bit in the evaluation, and on Friday, you're gonna receive more information in regards to our next informal meeting with the drivers. So last year, as stated prior, we were able to get that done with LEA and LESPA, and now we're focusing on the drivers this year. We have another informal meeting next week, so next Tuesday. And over the past month since we last met, we've been looking at retention, recruitment language, costing out different insurance possibilities, looking at wages across Kent County, some into Ionia, some into Ottawa, and just trying to gather information before we informally meet again for the second time. And then hopefully after the new year and after the board has been apprised of all the information, we'll begin to sit down in a formal manner and, you know, get through that negotiation process. January, February, you know, getting it done sooner is always better for the district, so that's what we're pushing towards. But this Friday, you can expect to see some of the language items that the drivers really wanted us to focus on, that we feel are important, as well as some of the numbers and wage pieces compared to some of the other district schools in the county or nearby. So that'll be coming as well, but the relationship with the drivers has been great as well, just like with our other unions. And when we informally sit down, there's you know, great discussion about what's working and what would, or what needs change, I guess we'll say. Secondly, I guess with this position, you know, you're always hiring for various reasons and purposes, but we have two jobs you know, that we're trying to hopefully conclude by the new year. We have a director of student services. We have 2 interviews set up in the next 2 weeks to begin that process here at central office to lead the district in that position. And then also we have an art position at the middle school. Mr. Steckity, newer to the middle school, started the first round and was able to select some candidates and move them over here to the central office team, and we'll continue pushing forward with that. And then just various other para jobs that could be custodians, admin assistants, paraprofessionals through the year, whether it's retirements, resignations, working with the principal teams, time and time again, just to, you know, to find the best fit for Lowell area schools. And we continue to push that out. You'll see things through Facebook, AppleTrack, LinkedIn. You know, I've talked about the different avenues, working with universities, and just always trying to recruit the best possible individuals. But that always does seem ongoing. It always seems a part of my presentation because there are jobs that we are trying to fill, and you know, the principals do a great job with the recruiting and getting those individuals through the process. So that's, as we conclude and get to the new year, those are the big things on my plate, and working with everybody in the district to find the best people. So big personnel push.
Thank you. Any questions? I do have a question.
Yeah.
Did we hire a replacement for Lori Summerfield? I mean, I realize she's irreplaceable, but.
Yeah, that's actually, that's one of my favorite ones of the year. I mentioned before, I mean, 40 years is unbelievable. And the kickoff at the beginning of the year, that was a lot of fun to even say 40. That was amazing. I tried to keep her on longer to go for the Bonnie Goki record, but we didn't quite get that. But no, actually, Lori, to answer your question, with the sections at the high school for the time being, we were able to absorb that position and shift some things around for the district.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Budget update, Mrs. Hodge.
Working on finalizing a budget amendment for the January meeting. So hopefully in the next week, I'll have that finalized for review with Mr. Fowler, and we'll get some preliminary information to the board as well before the meeting. We'll include as much information as I have for the state budget. I'm hoping that next week's state aid payment will provide some clarity on some of those larger items. But if not, we'll have more information in January or beyond, and we'll update the board accordingly. If there are larger swings than are expected, we would do another budget amendment, most likely. The budget amendment will also include some, future projections as we look forward now that we have contracts with our two largest groups. We'll be able to include some projections that really mean something. So that will help us going forward over the next few years as we make decisions. And then beyond that, the January consensus revenue estimating conference will be happening in mid-January, and that really kicks off the budget process for next school year. I feel like we haven't finished yet this year, but we're gonna be starting on next year already, next month. And then the governor's budget will be released the first Wednesday of February, and so we'll be hitting the ground running and doing budget meetings and all that kind of stuff, getting ready for the next school year.
Never-ending cycle. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Curriculum update.
Yeah, it's been a great month of learning across the district. We wrapped up the first trimester, and we're now well into the second trimester, and in fact, just a few short weeks away from the midway point, so the year is going by fast. Our K-5 math and reading project grade level teams have all met at least once and are starting their second round of meetings. As a reminder for the board, those grade level reading and math project teams are established with representation from all of the buildings at each grade level to review our Tier 1 curriculum, program, and resources and ensure that we are aligned across all of our buildings at the elementary level. The math teams have been focused on the implementation of Reveal Math, which is now in its third year, and our reading project team is focused right now on that open court implementation, which is in the first full year. I want to thank Carmen Tawney and Kendra Lee for their excellent work in leading those teams. Carmen Tawney is the lead on the math project, and Kendra is the lead on the reading project. Kendra is also our district literacy coach, and so she's transitioning the lead on that reading project over to Jill Kirkpatrick. Jill is a intervention coordinator at Alto, and so she's coming on so that we can spread that work out a little bit and share the load. Jill worked with Kendra on all of the grade level reading project teams at the beginning of this year, and then she transitioned to leadership of those teams just last week. So she took over the reading project with last week's meetings. Our middle school flex time pilot started last week, so they ran their first flex sessions on Tuesday and Thursday. The middle school program is modeled after the program established at our high school. Their intervention period is a little bit shorter, but they're running that also on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just like at the high school. First week seemed to go really well. Staff members were able to set up their sessions, and all the middle school students got to where they were supposed to go on both Tuesday and Thursday. I talked to Mr. Stecky at the beginning of the meeting today. We had 84% of our students placed for tomorrow's session. today, and so they went through the enrollment process with the rest of those students, and they'll run their third session tomorrow. So that pilot program seems to be going well. I want to thank our building leadership team at the middle school, the admin team, and all of the staff for their work in establishing that important part of our MTSS system at the middle school. Again, that flex time is intended as tier 2 intervention, so that we have the structure for students to get what they need as soon as they need it, when students start to fall behind, or when students demonstrate that they're ready for more learning that is generally allocated at the tier 1 level. So a lot of good things happening around the district this month. That's the curriculum report.
Any questions? Okay, any public comments?
We have 3 tonight. Sue, you have to help me with your last name again.
Oh, come on. Right now? Arselowitz.
Okay.
I would just like to clarify something that I feel is, when we talk about misinformation in the media. There was an article about the last meeting at which I spoke, and after they quoted me, they had an editor's note that said there was a ruling that a school cannot restrict access to books by shelving them out of view. I never said books were shelved out of view, and I never suggested that they should. So, to me, that's wasn't correct. I would like to say that I did go on to encourage the board to be more transparent with what is in the library. A few months ago, I asked the board about being more transparent with policy decisions and in the meetings, and you listened and you were willing to do that. A few weeks ago, Mrs. Boone questioned the Amazon purchases, and Mr. Fowler gave me the impression that he was willing to look into that and maybe make changes. That's all I'm asking, for more transparency. If you want to have adult books, because there are adult students, fine, but do the parents know what? The parents, we heard on the news a while back that there's no pornography in the library, which legally apparently that's true. But what they weren't told was that our images in at least one book, and plenty of sexual descriptions in books that I don't think can be read on the news. So they weren't getting, in my opinion, the full picture, and that's all I'm saying. Do the parents know exactly what is in there so that they can opt out? And that's all. Just the transparency that you've been willing to show in the past. Maybe could do a little bit more when these books, and maybe we could stop talking about them at every meeting. So, thank you and Merry Christmas to all.
Tom Starr.
Good evening, Tom Starr, 2510 Lake Michigan Drive, Northwest Grand Rapids. Fear. I think that 4-letter word sums up why some people want certain library books removed from the shelves of our libraries, or how books are selected to be added to the libraries. And recently there's also been a fear expressed about alleged LGBTQ issues creeping into some curriculums. I believe these fears are misplaced, since I feel the district's book selection process, the book's removal process, and addressing controversial curriculum topics are good, common sense, parent-friendly policies that address sensitive topics as expressed in board policies 2240 and 9130. I trust the students' parents to make decisions that are best for their children. I also have faith in our students that they can make wise decisions for themselves. As such, there should be no fear. The LGBTQ discussion got me thinking about how gay and lesbian students were viewed when I was teaching. I never knew if a student was gay or lesbian. It just was never discussed. And I never would have thought of the need to display a pride flag or to have my classroom labeled as a safe zone for gay students. I always thought my classroom was a safe zone, and I should be judged by my actions and not the display of some symbols or sayings. Since my retirement in 2002, I now realize that I had numerous gay students in my classes. I am proud of these students. For example, one has gone on to become a successful businessman, another an award-winning fashion designer, another a 3-time Big Ten Conference Coach of the Year, as well as a National Coach of the Year, and a former LHS homecoming queen who told me after the Obergefell decision that she was finally going to marry her longtime girlfriend. Now surely this LGBTQ phenomenon can't be new. So what does history tell us? I consulted Google and learned the following historical figures were believed to be either gay or bisexual: Julius Caesar, Leonardo da Vinci, Florence Nightingale, William Shakespeare, and King James I of England, among others. James is especially interesting since during his terms, he ordered a new translation of the Bible into what we commonly now call the King James Version. Finally, for those fearful of how books are added to our school libraries, or the content of those books, or the suspected LGBTQ issues in our curriculum, I would just leave you with a phrase that is found numerous times in the Bible: do not be afraid. Thank you for listening, and Merry Christmas.
Stephanie Moon.
Stephanie Boone, I live at 2205 Lowell Drive in Ada. In December 2022, in conjunction with a formal book reconsideration request I had made, I received a list of 10 books from Mrs. Beechler titled 12th Grade Only. I was made aware at that time that the book I was formally challenging, All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson, was already on that list. While the book may tell a touching story, it also includes sexually explicit scenes of gay incestual encounters, sexual assault, alternate gender ideologies, profanity and derogatory terms, alcohol and drug use, and controversial racial commentary. When I queried further as to why this book was on the list for 12th grade only, I was told that the book has more mature content. Any additional questions I've asked of Mrs. Beechler to date have gone unanswered. Last month, I asked for an updated list of books which had been determined by someone at LAS to be appropriate for seniors only. You can see my email thread in front of you there with Mr. Goff. What I found is that there are now 23 books on that list, and the list has been renamed to LHS Readers Advisory List. But the books are still only available to 12th graders or with parent permission. This left me with more good faith questions, as I have 3 kids still in Lowell area schools. The positive, we have people who are showing that they absolutely do understand what age appropriateness means, because they're making decisions to choose to put certain books on a list and keep them available to only 12th graders, or with parent permission. The negative, how do we, the parents, have any clue that this list exists? For years I have asked, how do we access this list? How do our kids access this list? And I finally, in the email thread, got the Fort Knox version of how to find this list. If you guys are so proud of the literature that you have in the schools, why isn't that on the homepage, LAS's homepage? Here's how you can find it. You know, let's do a quiz. I'm going to read a couple excerpts here from a couple different books. His small penis was fully erect, jutting plumply at an angle from the thin peach down of his pubic hair. He slipped the dildo on. The fit was tight, but there was some sort of lubricant in there. The friction was pleasant. He thrust forward suddenly, parting her with no grace. Every muscle and the sensation of climax was ecstasy. That's one book. The next, we were crossing a line that family should never cross. You told me to take off my pajama pants, which I did. Then you said, come on, Matt, taste it. This is what other boys like us to do when we like each other.
Time's up.
One is on the list for seniors.
Time is up.
The other is not.
Time is up.
I hear you. Thank you. You don't like that, do you? Doesn't make much sense, does it?
Okay. Superintendent's report.
All right, thank you. You know, as for the transparency piece, you know, the books are available on Destiny. It does require a little bit of work to see what those books are, to see what they are, but, you know, we do have a system in place, and we've communicated what that system is to share what the books in our library are. As for the itemized list of Amazon purchases, we did discuss that, and felt like, you know, like we're not trying to hide anything, but the effort that would be involved with publishing and organizing every purchase that was on Amazon right now is not something that we're going to do on a monthly basis. If somebody does have specific requests that they would like to see on any Amazon purchases that are in the update, or if there is something, the PBIS tables were referenced, be happy to review those purchases with somebody from the public. But at this point, not going to add that added work on our business office staff. I do want to mention, last week was honored to be a part of a special evening at Lowell High School as Grand Rapids Symphony performed in the LPAC. The professional orchestra played 3 songs on their own, and then student musicians joined the performance and sat with the professionals and played, and it was absolutely stunning and beautiful to hear the music of the combined orchestra. The symphony musicians spent the day with our students rehearsing and offering coaching. It was a great concert and a great experience for our student musicians. Also want to provide an update on just at the November workshop, we had a special meeting where the board authorized a resolution to opt into 31 AA funds for mental health and security. We have submitted our grant application for those funds. We also talked about the lawsuits that are pending in both state and federal courts about the constitutionality. We're hearing November 19th is the date where we'll likely hear rulings on that. So we'll continue to provide updates as a target date for the courts to make that ruling related to the constitutionality of the waiver of attorney-client privilege to accept those funds. As Gianna mentioned, it's just been a great time of year. We've got winter sports underway, holiday concerts, lots of events at our buildings. Our teachers still do a great job in spite of all of that hectic schedules to manage the changes to our schedules, manage the changes to the routines, and keep students engaged in the learning. We learned about last spring's testing at the workshop as well through Mr. Goff's report, and just those efforts that happen in classrooms every day, in homes across the district, with all of the things that are happening. You know, I think we're going to, this time next year, see another report of great student achievement and great student growth. And so just thank you to all of our teachers, to all of our parents for providing that focus on learning that our kids get to experience. And just conclude, our next scheduled meeting is January 12th. And so we've got a holiday season with Christmas, New Year's, all of the other holidays and celebrations that we have during that time. So hope everybody stays focused for the next 9 days of class, and then a well-deserved break after that. So thank you.
Board communications. Pat?
No.
Jess?
None.
Jim?
One thing with the superintendent's evaluation, much like with our finance department, sometimes you don't know what you have until you start doing the evaluation and realize how much other people struggle. So I appreciate the fact that we were able to go through an evaluation and decide whether we were gonna be 2.5 or 3. It's wonderful not to see those glaring issues that we're dealing with, so thank you. And also, if parents have questions about books they want restricted, they can email Mrs. Beechler. If you're struggling as a parent and you want parental advice, Mrs. Boone has offered her services, so get in touch with her. If a parent needs extra help, she's willing to help you.
Thank you. Jared?
I'd like to congratulate Molly on her nomination for Inspiring Principal. Yeah, that's all I got.
Annie?
Yes, so it's been brought up already once in this meeting, but I know we usually acknowledge retirees at the end of the year, but I feel like I'd acknowledge a special retiree, Lori Summerfield, who at the end of the first trimester did retire from LHS after 40 years of service to the district. And it is pretty rare that a teacher spends their entire career in one place. It's also pretty rare that you teach for 40 years, and she has done both of those things. So I feel like that's pretty amazing, and you'd be hard pressed to find people that grew up here that didn't have her as a teacher, including many of us in this space. She taught gym, she coached track, she directed plays, she ran the radio station, and like a million other things that I'm forgetting. She's of course also my aunt, so I'm a little biased, but she is an amazing great aunt to my kids, my nieces, and my nephews, and she's literally impacting generations of Lowell students, even the ones that don't get the pleasure of having her. So I wanted to officially acknowledge my congratulations on my Aunt Lori on her retirement. So thank you for indulging me.
All right. Well, I took up Ms. Arsewitz's challenge, and I didn't read the book. I skimmed it like I'm sure everybody else in this room did. And what I came up with was, this is the second book. It's Kingdom of the Cursed. It's the second book in a 3-book trilogy, which I guess is 3 books by definition. The passage that was read at the November workshop is 14 lines long and on page 334 of a 433-page long book. At 30 lines per page, that means 12,900, approximately 12,900 total lines in the book. Translation is that 1/1000th of the book is the passage that was read. According to the Miller test for obscenity, that you have to take a book is considered obscene when it's taken in whole, its entire work. 1/1000th of the book is not anywhere near what the majority is. So the other thing that I would like to say about this is we have a system in place. Mrs. Beasler is very, very good at calling a parent and she knows whose kids have restrictions and whose don't. And she will call the parent and ask them. So the fear of the parents not knowing anything about what books their kids are reading, I think they could probably ask their kids. I certainly would if I had children. The other thing is too, you can't judge a book by the cover, obviously, but this, I will read the very first page of the book. I come to take you to the other shore across, into eternal darkness, there to dwell in fierce heat and in ice. That's by Dante Alighieri, and it's from the Inferno, which is a classic piece of work. So you have a book here that is based on the 7 sins in hell, and the woman who is the protagonist sacrifices her humanity and her soul in order to avenge her sister's murder. So I don't know if you think that 14 lines out of that many lines is worth worrying about. I certainly don't. And if there is no other comment, I will call for, I will adjourn this meeting at, let's see if I can do this, 7:50. Oh, I need a motion to adjourn, sorry, before I can do that.
So moved.
Second. Second, okay.
Somebody gotta do it.
At 7:52. You guys have to make me do math, didn't you?
We got a call for a
Yeah,
vote.
till time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Now we will.
I almost finished it, and I was like, this was a challenge, because fantasy is not
Yeah.
my.
Oh, not your job.
I probably have read fantasy since a long time.
Did you read the first book?
I did not read the first book, so I feel like.
Yeah, you kind of probably
Yeah.
missed out on something.
I would like to thank you, you're the one that responded.